All right, here we are in my work area. It's a beautiful day, bit muggy, but not hot yet. So I'm trying to get as much done out here this morning before it gets hot this afternoon. So holiday time is coming. I'm never, I'm never ahead of that. So I really am being purposeful about all of you and trying to think about what kinds of fun things would you want to create with cement for your holiday decorations. And so here's one that is tried, true, and it's amazing. I've had lots of people ask for these, and I've sold some and given some away. They're just so cute. And you will see other YouTube videos and things out there, creators doing this. So again, please watch all of those. They probably got some knowledge I don't. So, but it's these are, what's this? So cute. Little pumpkins. So I make these actually with a mixture of Hypertufa. So Hypertufa is actually created using cement and peat moss and vermiculite. You could use perlite in it. It's supposed to resemble stone. So way back in history, tufa is an actual stone created in nature that way back in the more ancient times folks would use to carve out water troughs for their animals or big pots for their plants, different things like that. So big troughs for sinks, and anyway, it was used, this stone was used for that. But as that was getting harder and harder to get, the English people over there in Great Britain developed this Hypertufa, which uses cement and other organic materials then, like the peat moss, potting soil, vermiculite. I like this mixture I've got going here. It's using a, it actually, you can do two things, and I'm going to try this one. You can use the pre-mixed mortar, sanded mortar, to put here. So I'm going to use the sanded mortar, and I'm going to use vermiculite. That's all the little speckles you see in there, and I like it because it adds just a little bit of sparkle to this creation, and they're not terribly heavy. And this one I've had now for a couple of years. I've got a set of 3 of these. I think they look good in sets of 3. And so I just saved my sticks from when we need to do some tree trimming. This is just some fencing wire or rebar wire that I've used for the little tendrils. And we're going to mix this up. I'm going to show you how this is done. You can create some of these for your holiday table or your holiday decorations. Give them away, sell them, I don't know, just enjoy them yourself. So let's get started. So again, I'm using my sifter. So I've just got a container and an old wooden frame that I put window screen on, and this is what I'm going to use to sift my peat moss. I buy the big bales of peat moss from Lowe's. Now this isn't potting soil, this is just sphagnum peat moss, and that's what you want to use. And I'm sifting it so it'll be nice and fine and we don't have a lot of the extra chunks in it. So as you sift and you sift and you sift, and I'm not going to take a lot of time to do that because I've already done some, you get this. So very nice and finely sifted. So I've already sifted a bunch for myself to make this Hypertufa with, and in your Hypertufa I'll give you the amounts on the screen here, but again I've got my, this is repair mortar, this fast set repair mortar, that's what's here, and the vermiculite. So I've got that all here in my little bowl. I'm going to mix that all up. So in my bowl, I'm mixing up my ingredients. So what I have is 2 parts of the mortar set. So 2 parts, so 2 cans, and then 1 can of my sifted peat moss, and 1 can of vermiculite. So 2 of the mortar mix, 1 of the peat moss, 1 of the vermiculite, and I've also added some concrete coloring. This one's going to have a little orange tint to it. And so here we are. Hamburgery. There we go. All right. While that's resting for just a little bit, you're going to want to get a container, and I'm using some old pantyhose. You can also use stockings. Knee-high socks will work. Anything nice and thin like this. And I'm stretching it over my container so I can fill this sock. So that's going to be very helpful, just like that. Now we're going to put this in here. We just needed that on there long enough to fill our sock. And I don't know. Why do I? I don't. Why? I don't know. Oh well, here we are. Cement's washable. It'll come out. But I will have to change my blouse before I go to the store, that's for sure. Do you ever have a plan for your day, and so you dress for the plan for your day, and then you step outside in your workspace? You're just going to do one thing. It's a very simple thing, very simple project, doesn't require very much, and then, well, this happens, and then going, oh, I need to record that, and okay, I'll change my clothes before I go to the store. I'm all filled in. Try not to put a run in it, otherwise you're going to have like this little line up your pumpkin. If you do get a run in your stocking, we can cover that up, and I'll show you how. But there, we want to get all the way down to the bottom and shape our pumpkin here. And then this little rest of the sock here, I want to keep that on because I'm just going to wind it up. Just going to wind it up, kind of like those little bumper balls, and not too tight. And then I'm just going to stick it right down in the center, because this center divot is where I'm going to be able to later put my pumpkin stem. So I want that divot there. All right, so do you start seeing it? Is it coming together for you? You want to put some rubber bands around this, and that's what's going to make the pumpkin shape. And so I'm going to have to take these gloves off because they're going to get in my way. I couldn't find my actual rubber bands, and so I've got some balloons that I have sliced that will be just fine. So all we're going to do now is take your rubber bands, put that on, and see how that's going to hold that center divot down for us, like so. This is already being so cute. There we go. And one more. Alright, so you don't want the rubber bands too tight, but you want them tight enough to be able to make the divots, the little dimples in the pumpkin. And so I'm just kind of working them in so it does what I want it to. There we go, so you can see got all my little, oh, I want that a little more evened out, so I'm going to move that one over. There we go, like that. Okay, now, a lot of folks would just set that and let it set and cure. I like them to have not too flat on the bottom. I like to hang them so that they will still remain rounded. Okay, so I want to be able to hang this so it'll continue to kind of drip, get the water out, and actually keep the bottom rounded, because that's really my goal, is to keep the bottom of this rounded. So I just used a paper clip, and I've got one of these little rings here. So I can now hang this here. It'll continue to drip and it will set and cure. Okay, after at least 24 hours, and you could go longer if you like, but I like to be able to take them out of the stocking when they're still green, if you will. They're not completely dry through and through. So just kind of check, and when you do take them out of the stocking, you want to be gentle. Remember, they're not solid and hard through and through like concrete yet. So to be gentle so you don't break out the wedges that could be a little weakened. But I like to take them out of the stocking, to take them right out, and while they're still kind of a little bit damp, I'm going to take an old towel. Remember those old towels that my husband won't let me keep in the house anymore. So these old towels, I'm going to take an old towel, and I'm going to like, little pat it here, I'm going to like burnish it a little bit. I'm going to very gently begin taking off that outer layer of the cement that has settled on the outside of this pumpkin. And so if you don't do this part, you won't see the vermiculite. It'll just be all concrete. And if you like that look, go ahead and keep that. But if you want it to be flecked like this, you will want to come through and remove that outer layer. Gently, please, just gently. Don't crack it. Don't take a big chunk out of it. So take some time and just gently remove any of the outside that you want. You could even come in with some sandpaper, a little sanding block, to take off and make it smoother. So just working it, see how nicely that is? So just kind of working, you can see where I've left the cement, and I'm going to go back through and take some more out, because I really like those flecks showing through. Once you've got it looking the way you want it to, and again, right, nature, pumpkins, they're not all the same, they're not all perfect, they're not all the same size and shape and all of that. So just do what you enjoy doing with that. But once we have that done, now we're going to add the stem and the tendrils, and all we need to do is just some mortar. So let's get a little mortar mixed up. We're just going to mix up just a little bit of mortar inside, just enough to be some glue. And you could tint this green, you could paint it green afterwards if you want that stem to look a little more authentic. But I'm just going to put a little of this mortar right in here. Now don't force too much. Remember, this pumpkin is still soft. And I've also cut some wire to be the tendrils. So again, just a little of our mortar in place here. And we can stick those tendrils right down in there. Pat it all down. Right down inside. Boom. A little bit of this extra mortar around the edges here. A little water, smooth it out. Okay, I'm not using my gloves, notice. I'm going to need to really go in and wash my hands as soon as I'm done with this application, and put some lotion on. So you want to always be really careful if you're not using your gloves. This will certainly dry out your hands. So, but there's just sometimes, at least in my working with this, I got to get my finger in there and actually feel what's going on. There we go. All right. There we have it. So again, I hope that this kind of inspires you, gets you started for the holidays. It's kind of nice to be thinking about that right now. You know, it's not too crazy, so my brain can think about holiday time and not get too stressed out. So I'm showing you a way, not the way, remember. And so if you need more information and are more curious, you want to look at other people out there doing this, there's a lot of creators doing these little concrete and Hypertufa pumpkins. So see what you can do, see what you learn. Remember, the rule is, share with me what you learned. Let me know if you've made them. Send me pictures of what you've made. I'm trying to create and get enough content from all of you that I can do a spotlight video and show what you're doing so that you can also inspire others. So thanks for being with me today, and let me know how this works out for you. Have a good day.